What's going on, everybody? I'm back again with another video, and this is going to be another simple walk and talk video out here in where I live in Bonifacio, Global City. But today I'm going to talk about why I think it's a good idea to sometimes just leave your hometown and go somewhere further, somewhere that's different from you, to experience different things and grow. So I'm going to do a little bit of that, but I'm going to be hitting the neighborhood and do the walk and talk. So without further ado, join me. So I'm out here walking, and over here this is just a prime example of why it was beneficial for me to leave my hometown, or to leave a place that I settled for a long time and I built a career, but I just wasn't happy or I felt no growth. If I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't be able to live in a nice place like this. High-rise buildings for a fraction of the price that it would cost me back home in the States. But let's hit the road and I'll explain to you a little bit more why I think it's a good idea for you to leave your hometown, city, country, etc. So let's get into it. So now that I hit the streets, I can explain a little bit more why I think it could be a good idea. Now, I gotta say, this is for different types of people. You know, results vary, but if you're somebody who is open-minded and you like change and you like going and trying something different, then this might be a good idea. Now, there's a lot of people that they're born, raised, and they decide to stay at a location for a very long time or forever. And you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes if you try to do that, you're gonna be stuck. So that's why I think it's a good idea to change, you know, and try something different. How beautiful this is. Never get tired of this view. This is some of the results you can get when you make changes in your life, you know. See different sceneries, get to meet different people, get to network and get to grow every day. So my point is, you know, a lot of people, they born, raised, or they're born and move to a certain time, to a certain town, and then sometimes they're kind of scared to move out. Like they kind of want to do a change in their life, they want to go somewhere else, but I feel like sometimes the fear is kind of stopping them from trying something different. It's kind of stopping them from growing in life. And sometimes you just can't let fear interfere with your life. And if you have a purpose in life and you're really dreaming of trying something new, then you gotta let the fear, you gotta overcome your fears and try something, because you never know if you never try. What you should be fear is if you get old and unhealthy and then you regret it and you realize that's too late. That's what you should be fearing of, you know? It's better to try and see and look back and be like, yeah, at least I tried, than getting old and realize, oh, I should have tried when I was younger and this and that, and regretted it when it's later. So I'll give you a little brief background about me. You know, I usually focus more on doing walking tour videos, neighborhood guys, but I was born in Germany because my parents, they serve, you know, the military, so I was born in a military hospital, but I don't really remember much of it because I was just a little kid. We moved to upstate New York. Of course, the Army, they move you. And then after that, when I was 4.5 years old, I moved to Puerto Rico with my grandparents, and they raised me. And I lived there for a good 19 years. You know, I did all my studies, elementary, middle school, high school, university over there. And I'm very grateful for it. You know, a beautiful place that I was so proud to be raised. You know, that country later gave it all to me. I was able to learn Spanish over there. I had my grandparents, my uncle, my family over there. But then I just wasn't growing, and you know, it's a beautiful island, but over there the economy is not really the best. So even though I had a whole educational background coming from over there, I just wasn't getting what I want. But at the same time, I was just a young kid, you know. I went to college when I was 18, I graduated when I was 22. I still stayed there when I was 23, so we didn't have the technology like we have nowadays. But I was still like a little confused, like, okay, I went to school, college, because this is what they train me to do. You know, they always train you like, hey, you gotta go to school, you gotta go to college, and you get yourself a good job, and blah, 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 all that stuff. So I did all of that, right? But I realized I was getting stuck. Then I decided to move to New Jersey. That's where my father lives. And after 3 months of living there, I got myself a job. Not a paid job, but since I didn't have much background, like experience background, I decided, okay, I'm gonna take it. You know, it's not much money, but at least I get experience. At least it's a little bit of money for me to learn how to manage. Because the thing is, when you go to school, they don't really teach you much about how to manage your money, especially in the States or in Puerto Rico. You know, that's something that they should do in school, prepare you for when you get adult. So I got myself a job. Then 9 months later, I got myself into another company that was better, a little bit of better pay. 2 years later, I got myself with the same company, but I transferred to New York City, and the pay was even higher. So I stayed there for too long, but then years was passing by, and I just was getting unhappier and unhappier, and I wasn't going because every day I was waking up to the same scenery, the same job, the same people and everything. And instead of going, I wasn't even feeling stuck. I just feeling like I was sinking underground. And that's why in last year, in March 6th of 2025, I did a change, and I decided, you know what, it's time for me to move on. I left the States and I moved here to the Philippines. And I can't really complain, you know, I'm still learning little by little every day. But since I moved here, I've been able to travel many other countries around. And keep in mind, even before I moved here, I've been to the Philippines and other countries many times. But during this time, I decided to do the move, you know. And like I say, because I'm glad I did, because it's been over a year since I've been here. I haven't lived here straight, because even when I came here in March, I went back to the States for a few months to enjoy the summer and keep focusing on what I wanted to do. Then I came back here, then I went to a few other countries. And a month ago, I went back to the States to close officially my chapter. So I could say like, when I came back, like a month ago is when I'm 100% did the permanent move over here. But between that combined being over a year, and if I wouldn't do that right now, I probably would be getting ready to get up early and go to work and do something that I wasn't really happy about enjoying. So like I say, 1 year to the drain that I would be racing, and I'm not getting any younger. So the older I get, time flies, and then I realized that I stuck myself onto only one career. Like I say, everybody's different. If that's what you really want to do, then power on to you. But like me and many other open-minded people, we love to change and we love trying different things. And then, you know, it was good at first when I left Puerto Rico, which I love it over there. But when I moved to, you know, New Jersey, it was like, wow, like I got to experience new things. And then after a while, like I said, I moved to New York, and now I'm even happier because I get to experience new things too. And I gotta tell you, besides me living in New York plays a huge, important key role on my career and everything. This channel wouldn't exist if it wasn't for New York City. And then the fact that that's it's actually the most diverse city in the world, and I got to meet people from all over the world. I think that spiked my curiosity to want to travel. And the fact that I met people from different countries and even other small towns, you know, explaining, you know, how they come from this town, city, etc. But they just feel like they wasn't growing and they decided to leave and made the dreams in New York. That kind of also explains why it could be very beneficial that you leave your hometown to try something new, something different. And like I say, if it doesn't go out as planned, you can always go back. And then you realize, what did I do wrong? And you can adjust it. Gotta tell you, it's a beautiful day out here in Bonifacio, Global City. Nice weather. But keep in mind, this is only a little portion of Metro Manila in the Philippines. We should explore many other districts and many other islands out here. And that's another reason why I chose to live here, because this is actually a nice neighborhood that has all the amenities that you'll leave. Shout out. And see how friendly the people are. This is one of the neighborhoods that has nice amenities for a fraction of price that I would pay in the States. By the end of the day, it also gives me access to other parts of the Philippines. I could travel to the islands, the beach, everything. Or I could hop on a plane and 2 hours be in Hong Kong, Taiwan. 3 hours, 4 hours, I could go to Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, you know, many other countries. That's something also that I was mentioning in one of my previous videos, that if you're living in the States, depending obviously, but for example, I was living in Jersey City in the East Coast, I could travel to Nevada, California, Washington State. It'll be like what, 5 hours, 6 hours, depending, and you're still in the same country. Here, within 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hour range, I could travel to like multiple countries altogether, and then experience like different languages, different types of food, different cultures. You know, and I think that's another good thing of living out here, that it gives you access to all of this, and it makes you grow exponentially, you know, and appreciate other things in life. Here's one of the local parks that I got over here. Pretty quiet today. I'm a little bit surprised because it's not brutally hot like it usually be. But also because today is actually kind of Sunday. Like I say, no matter what day of the week you come out here. But the nighttime, I'm pretty sure it's going to be actually more busier. And you see all the modern buildings that we got happening over here. We're gonna make it over this way towards 7th Avenue. Like I say, there's an area over here that literally resembles like if you're back in New York City at Mini Times Square. Which reminds me, later I'm gonna make a little short video in Spanish. I got a Facebook page too, same, Manual Sports, if you wanna follow me. And I'm starting to post more content over there. Mostly in English, but I've been balancing out and making Spanish content too. And it's getting more and more views too, so if you guys want to follow me over there, you're more than welcome to. And here you see a pretty chill day. Got courtyard right there, maintaining the lawn, the grass, and see how nice and organized the sidewalks are right here. This building over here is a Shangri-La. Then they got a mixture of restaurants, call centers, everything. A block over here is Bonifacio High Street, which is a mixture of a shopping district, pedestrian area, and that's where most of the people, they pretty much hang out. Look how nice these buildings are. Mixture of call centers, car dealerships. And at the bottom, they got like a food court or restaurants. This will take you straight into Fifth Avenue. Then we got a mall, and you see some of the buildings right here. And the trees, you know, pretty beautiful business district that they got going on right here. Dang, ever since I moved here, I feel like my quality of life has gotten better. My health has gotten better too, because I feel like the food here is more natural and much more affordable than what you would get back home in the States, you know. And like I say, I see different types of people every day, and I feel motivated to grind harder and achieve more, you know, and see something different every day. Like I say, back in the States, even though Jersey and New York were pretty good, I just feel like every day it was the same thing, repetitive routine. Like I was just work, home, like 5 days a week, 2 days that lasted literally like nothing, and then back again to the grind. Sometimes you would do like 6 days, or you would do double shift and everybody fist bumping you like, make that money, bro, make that money. But that wasn't really making me happy, you know. I don't want to be in my job for 8 hours and then keep alone doing another entire shift. But it's crazy how people let fear and they let that money like trap you and cage you in and let you not dream to something else. This is like the busiest area, but I'm gonna go over this side ahead of me. This is the area where most of the people hang out because they got that neon light, which is off right now because they had a fire not much ago. I'm gonna go over this way because it looks nicer. 14 seconds. So this is a block that I've walked, but I haven't really filmed it, but it feels very different. Here, it literally feels like if I'm back in either Chicago or New York City. The way how the buildings are structured in the trees, that's literally like that same vibe. Like over here, you see how the streets are? Like I could take a picture over here and you will feel like, you might believe like it's the United States, but this is the Philippines. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, you could get a home far away from home in countries like this. Philippines has it. If you go to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, they have a lot of futuristic modern buildings and affordable, you know, that makes it feel like back home. That's another thing. It happens all over, but most of this cases of people just being confined to their hometown city, it happens mostly like in the States, you know. It's crazy that a lot of people, they have never left their own state or their own city, and then they just criticize the country just by looking at what they see in the media. Like here in the Philippines, it doesn't really get like a good reputation, and especially the city of Manila. This is Metro Manila, but in general, they call it Manila. It doesn't get a good reputation, and even me years ago, before knowing much about the Philippines, I thought that Manila wasn't all good, because all they show in the media was just the negative, you know, the slums, the bad areas, and that they have those, but it's like any other country, they have good and bad, but then they have nice places like this too, you know? So you just gotta know, and then people are very nice and hospitable. As long as you show respect to the locals over here, then you get respect back. Look at this other park. I'm not sure if this park is accessible for the public or it's part of the Mine Museum, but inside I see like some nice decorations. And this is like the behind area of the Shangri-La area. The Mine Museum is literally like over that way ahead. Then if you shortcut, it's the other district of Bonifacio Global City that's called Forbes Town. Pretty beautiful area. You can see how beautiful it is and look how tall the buildings are right here. The prices vary. This is one of the most expensive areas in Manila, but you can get apartments for 500, 600, 700 depending. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, but 600 is a lot of money, but look at the area that I'm walking. Everywhere is walkable. They got stores, they got malls, everything. You don't need to go somewhere else because you're literally walking distance. And if anything, you could take a little grab and go to Makati, other areas are not too far from here, but the amenities that you get over here, it makes the price pretty worth it. And then for some reason, this is actually one of my favorite areas in Bonifacio Global City. This and the Terra area, I don't know why I got over there, it's more chill. But this area is actually pretty cool because I want to show you something ahead of me. Like this here, you know I'm a fan of the sphere, and this resembles like the globe. But what you don't know is that they have a huge, massive flood control underneath this entire circle that avoids the area from flooding. And then like the buildings, the trees, everything, it just, you know, Like we say in Spanish, no tiene nada no tiene nada que enviar, you know, nothing to envy with other cities. Then it seems they're gonna have a festival or something at Forest Town. Too, this is another reason why I love living out here. Like they have so much to offer. Seems like they're gonna set up, I see already the tents. In the nighttime, this gets very vibrant. This is the area, see, outdoor sitting area. It says Forest Town out there. And then they're gonna set up like a little market right here. Oh yeah, I forgot what it was. I just saw it in their social media page. So I remember yesterday I saw what they were gonna do here. It's actually I think a little pickleball event from 3 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night. So that's a good idea because it's very hot in this time, but in those times it's actually very good. So it's gonna happen right here. So a little something to do. This area just keeps going, you know. There's a bit like Eastwood City over here, where there's another area in Quezon City and Metro Manila. Then you see the high-rise buildings and a lot of expats that usually hang out here because you have like a lot of great restaurants and a lot of bars and stuff. So if you come out here in the nighttime, you're gonna see like a lot of people. And here, of course, more going on. This bar here, not gonna put the camera in the way to respect their privacy, but this area over here, every time I come, it's literally filled up with foreigners. And they got a Japanese joint over here, draft beer. Oh, okay. I guess they have good beer and good food over here. And then over here, they always set up like a little market outside. And then over here's the entrance to the greenway that I film there every time. And there's a chair here, so I'm gonna sit down and party call it a day for my video. Just a little short walk and talk video, but explaining a little bit why I think it could be beneficial for you to overcome your fears, take a leap of faith, and leave your hometown and go, I don't know, any place of your choice. You know, everybody's different. Some people, they love nature. Other people love city. Me, myself, I love the city, but you choose at the end of the day where to go, where you think you could do well, where you think you can grow, where you think you could find true happiness. Me as a Puerto Rican, I found my happiness out here in the Philippines, and I'll stay here until whenever God says so, and I'll do my best, you know, to show the country, make good content about the country, and promote this country and respect the people, you know? Respect the people. The people has done so much for me. They have adopted me and treated me like one of their own. So pretty blessed to be out here, and I'm grateful that I did that leap of faith and I left my hometown, and now I'm out here living in a beautiful country, which is Filipinas. So I think this is gonna conclude it. I'm gonna wrap up my video over here. So that was the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there, everybody. God bless y'all, and peace.